All right, so we're going to go over some of the protocols that you can adopt into your life and should adopt into your life to deal with the Metacrisis as well as the Great Reset that is happening right now. And for people who don't think that there is a Metacrisis or a Great Reset, because I know there's a lot of conspiracies out there, and this is what I'm here to say, is that it doesn't actually matter whether you believe in the conspiracies or not. The point is, there's enough people that do believe in the conspiracies to the point to where it's mainstream now. So the mainstream people no longer trust the mainstream media. And when that happens, civilization is over. It's declining because of that. There's no way that you can keep a civilization intact and keep it thriving and keep it unified, harnessing the power of everybody's souls in one direction. There's no way that you can do that if everybody distrusts everybody else, and that's what we have now. So this Great Reset, this Metacrisis, it is happening, and it's going to continue happening. It's not a conspiracy, it's really happening. So does it mean it's bad? No, it does not mean it's bad. It means that it's changing. It means that the world is changing. It doesn't mean it's bad. And actually, there's good news, because there is a lot of prophecy that says right after this Great Reset, right after, as we enter the end of the Aquarian Age, the cusp of the Aquarian Age, we enter a golden age. So it could be even better than the past. The future could be even better, or this next Kali Yuga could be even better than the one that we previously came from, if you're a millennial and before that. So why is the Metacrisis? What is a Metacrisis? A Metacrisis is multiple crises happening around the world at a rapid pace, and it's hard to keep up with everything. It's hard to adapt. And so, because some of those changes may favor you, but some of those changes may not. This is the Metacrisis. The Great Reset is more specific. The Great Reset has to do with economics and a little bit of spiritual, because depending on who you ask, some people, when you say Great Reset, they're only talking about the economic Great Reset, but then other people, they combine the two meanings. They think it's both economic, institution, spiritual, like everything, the entire Great Reset. So why is this Great Reset happening? Well, on the financial side, it's just happening because of debt and because of fiat currency. Is that we've been living in a system of lending and interest, and every time you lend and you charge interest, you're putting money into the system where there is no actual value backing the currency, which allows you to keep printing more, even though there's nothing backing any of that currency that you're printing and injecting into the economy. So all this fiat money has been floating around. We've been all using it, and the chickens are coming home to roost. And so you see all this breakdown of the financial institutions happening. But then we have this crazy technological progression that is happening rapidly as well, exponentially. So this is displacing jobs. And then when you tie, and it's changing the way people, what it means to be human. This whole transhumanism, this reliance on technology, this whole replacement of the human ingenuity or of the human skill sets, the human soul. I want to take just a minute right here to, this is so important, to talk about the difference between technology in the form of computers and machines and the human biology as a technology. Because biology, the human body, is a technology, spiritual technology, whatever you want to call it. It is a technology that is way advanced than any machine could possibly be. And I'll tell you what, because a machine, you have to keep on upgrading it. And as soon as it reaches the limits of that upgrade, you have to invent a new machine that's even better, that's even faster, that can go even further. You have to invent another one. You have to upgrade. The human biology is such where there are no limits. And in the human biology, it's actually designed to keep expanding and to keep on whatever limits you impose upon it, it's going to go beyond those limits to compensate. So like the 4-minute mile. Everybody thought it was a scientific fact the 4-minute mile was the fastest. You couldn't break a 4-minute mile. Nobody could run past a mile in shorter than 4 minutes. But then as soon as somebody did, now you have high school kids, everybody does this. It's like normal, common, everyday thing to run a 4-mile minute. So So the human biology, the mind, that's why if you look into the human world, every time somebody breaks a record, somebody else will then come along and break their record. Then someone breaks their record. Then someone breaks their record. So it's this expansive, expendable, limitless ability that humans have if they keep on harnessing whatever it is. Like, what is this greatness that exists within people? So when we start using these crutches, going to the doctor and using the medical stuff and using the computer and all these other things, and now you're downloading stuff, and now you're watching a little video instead of writing or reading it, and all these, over time you're actually cheapening. You have the better technology, but you want the crappier second-rate technology. So that's something that one of the things to think about as you see all of these shiny new objects technologically coming out, like the virtual reality and all of that. Keep in mind, you still at the same time can continue developing your spiritual technologies, your spiritual powers, becoming more intuitive. The more intuitive you are, the more in tune and tapped in you are with the 0-point energy field, the faster you will be. Because what is speed? Speed is simply being there before someone else. It doesn't actually mean motion and how fast something is moving motion. I mean, if you can't see someone and they can slowly walk towards you without you seeing them, and they just suddenly appear, you're going to think they're fast. Well, you got here so fast. No, you just didn't see them moving towards you. So speed is whoever gets there first, whoever gets there before you get there. Just think about that for a second. So we're going into this Metacrisis. We're going into the Great Reset. So one of the things that you could do, this is the most important place that you start, is being able to take control of your thoughts. Now here's the thing we're going to begin with. We all know by now that your thoughts create your reality. It's pretty basic information that a lot of people know about, so we're not going to waste time on that. Your thoughts create your reality. If you don't think so, too bad, but your thoughts create your reality. Now part 2 of that is that you can't control your thoughts. This is something that a lot of people don't get. You shouldn't try to control your thoughts, because you can't control your thoughts, because you don't even know where your thoughts come from. That doesn't mean you can't eventually become a positive thinker. We're going to get into that, but let's just first start. You become a positive thinker like this. This is how you do it. And this is how most people do it. So understand and just accept the fact that you can't control your thoughts. And the mystery behind it is you don't know where they come from. So there's no point in wasting energy on that. But what you can do is each time you have a doubtful thought come up, you can rewrite that thought. So this is what I do, because it's normal to have doubts pop up. Like, it could be something simple, like you could have booked a trip somewhere, and then you could say, I wonder if I should have gone elsewhere. Or you could have bought a stock, and then you're wondering, did I really buy the right stock? And then let's say you check on the stock and it goes down a lot one day. You're going to start filling up with doubt, even though if you just stay and just wait it out, it could go up again. But the thing is, the doubt creeps in. So you say, damn it, I shouldn't have done that. So what I'm saying is that monitor your thoughts throughout the day. Some people meditate in order to get better at this, but after a while, like for me, I'm always monitoring my thoughts. It's just, once you know that you should monitor your thoughts, then you will just monitor your thoughts. So your thoughts are coming up. Check yourself next time you're thinking something like, I don't want to do this, or this sucks, whatever doubtful or negative thing, and actually just stop yourself right there and change the script. So let me give you an example. Let's say you messed up. Let's say I knew I shouldn't have bought that car. Just for example, like, waste of money. I knew I shouldn't have done that. If you catch yourself ever doing that, it's not going to help you. So what you have to do, and this will help you, is if you just stop right there and you say, I did make the right decision, and this is just the way it is. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the following day. Something good might come out of this car purchase. Just because I'm having a doubtful thought doesn't mean that life stops here with this doubtful thought. Because what is it? It's just a thought that comes up. It's not the truth. It's not what defines you. It's not what defines your life or anything like that. It's one thought out of a zillion that are constantly popping up here and now and throughout the day. The point is that you get to choose. This is where you get to exercise your free will. You get to choose which thoughts to follow. And any of these thoughts are going to take you down a stream somewhere. And you want to follow the thoughts that are going to take you down that stream to somewhere where you actually want to be. And if you keep following every single thought that pops up, you'll go nowhere. You will stay in place. And staying in place means death. It means that the river keeps flowing and moving the fresh water down to the banks, while the people who get stuck grow stale. They lose the pH balance and things decay and die. You don't want to be like that. So you want to stay flowing and moving in the right direction. And you get to choose which direction and where you flow based on which thoughts you follow. So what you do is you just stop when you notice yourself having a doubtful or negative thought, and you just change it to the opposite or whatever you want, because really it doesn't matter. Because if you think about it, your brain, that thought just came up out of your brain, right? So now you're hitting back. You're going to, okay, thought, well, take this, and you're going to say something else. And as you keep doing this, it trains you. It starts to train your brain, your mind, to not be affected. Because it's like in sparring situation for striking arts. So like boxing, you don't want to flinch. Like, how do you know someone can fight? Because they don't flinch. Everything in the art of exposing openings is it's getting people to flinch. It's getting people to, and then you do the real one, it's getting them to flinch. So these thoughts is the same thing. These thoughts will keep coming up and they want you to flinch. And you can turn these negative thoughts or turn these thoughts of doubt into seeds of empowerment and growth when you just change what it says. What did it say? What did the thought say? The thought said, I'm scared of this. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to go over that. Whatever it said, just change it. Just change it. Instead of saying, this is another one. When you pray, it has to be in the form of a command. Like a lot of people when they pray, it's going to be like they're begging or they're begging God that this happens. That is not actually what he wants to hear. It's not really what God wants from you. It's not how the universe is going to actually respond. You have to command it. So instead of saying, man, I really hope I get this job, or I really hope things work out. It's like, no, I'm getting this job. Like, things are going to work out. I don't care. I'm doing this. Like, I'm stating it right now. I'm cementing this legacy. I'm cementing this to happen right now because I'm speaking it. And you have to keep on pummeling it in like that. Otherwise, the universe is not going to react to you. It doesn't even like people that beg. It wants people that step up to the plate, who choose courage, basically. So you have to actually show that in order for it to say. I had a friend, like I had a friend, and we were at the house party, San Francisco house parties. This all the skaters, everybody drunk and whiling out. He threw a tequila bottle across the street and it hit some guy's window. And this guy came out, wife beater and everything, came out with a bottle of liquor. And he's like bigger than everyone. This is when we were like in our early 20s and just kids, And this guy came out and he's like, who the fuck threw that? Who the fuck threw that? And my friend, the one who threw it, he was like, I did it. And the dude just went up to him and he was like, you got balls. And he handed him the bottle that he was holding, and they both took shots. So it's a weird concept that the universe, it likes courage. If you're bold and you just say, I'm right here, you own things, and you don't try to hide away from things, it kind of rewards you. So when you have these thoughts come up, you can actually change them and change the impact that they have on you by just rewriting them. So think about it. You just a second ago, you may have a feeling of doubt because you had a thought of doubt. But after you rewrote that thought, sent it back, you now have a feeling of confidence. Another story is like this is kind of dark, but it really is empowering, because there was this woman that was kidnapped. She's put in the trunk of a car and beaten up and assaulted, everything, and she thought she was going to die, and the guy pulled over. He took her out to the desert and everything, and when he pulled over, she realized something. She was so scared. She couldn't take it anymore. She was just like, I don't want to die. And the fear was eating her up, and it was eating her up so much that she was finally like, wait a second, fuck this guy. I'm not going to let this guy kill me. And she figured it out. I mean, when the guy came to open the trunk, even though she was all tied up and everything, something happened. When she had that confidence come into her being, she was able to wiggle free from the ropes, strike him, run, and when he opened the trunk, popped the trunk, she was able to get out, run. He chased after her with a machete or a knife, big knife, but she was able to flag down another driver just in time. So the miracles, they happen when you find your power, you find your courage. That's when the power happens. So the way that you can find that is by rewriting every negative thought, every thought of doubt that comes into your mind, until it becomes a normal habit. And then your mind will just do it for you automatically, and you don't even have to try. So that's how you deal with your thoughts. The next one is having some kind of Greg Braden, actually, he called this guy Greg Braden, if you want to look him up, he calls it coherence. Coherence. Now, I have my own way of getting into coherence, but what coherence is, it's basically synchronization between the heart and brain. Synchronization between the heart and brain. So if you have if you're going to go into a difficult conversation or difficult phone call or a difficult work meeting, something that's going to stress you out, maybe you're going to have to give somebody some bad news. It's good to establish heart-brain coherence. It's good to establish coherence before you go do that. Because when you are coherent, when your brain and your heart rhythms are synchronized, you have a higher immunity, you have a higher tolerance for stress, you have less ego, you're less reactive, you have better clarity of thoughts, so problem solving's easier, you're just more relaxed. So when you are more relaxed, your brain can flow freely and function. So he gets into coherence by stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. So normally, especially when we're stressed out, we're holding tension in the body, even if it's unconscious. Especially like if you're stressed out, in the back of your mind there's a life event that is stressing you out. You may not notice, but you actually are unconsciously tensing your muscles throughout the day, unconsciously. So you have to relax. And so one of the things to do is parasympathetic breathing, which is simply just exhaling longer than the inhale. So to establish that heart-brain coherence, you would just want to find a place, whatever, quiet, close your eyes, go into that place in your mind where awareness is created. And just start your parasympathetic breathing. You don't have to count or do or anything like that. Just breathe how you normally would, as long as you're exhaling longer than the inhale. You're exhaling longer than the inhale. That's going to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system to calm you. And because when you're breathing in that rhythm where you're exhaling more than you're inhaling, it's telling your body that everything's okay. You got that? When you are exhaling longer than you are inhaling, it is telling your body you are okay. That's how you breathe when everything is okay. So that's how, and you can do this at a high heart rate as well. So I do this not when I'm relaxing. I do this when my heart rate is at its maximum red line. So what I do is I have these circuits that I do every single morning. And the circuit, it's continuing to grow. But where I'm at right now is I do 120 weighted squats, so 60 pounds, I have 30 pounds in each hand. I do 120 weighted squats. That's how I wake up. Weighted squats, And sometimes, if one day I'll do those, and then the next day I'll do lunges. So it's always alternating between these lunges and squats. This is how I wake up, with 120 squats or lunges. And then as the day goes on, I'll work into the upper body, and then by the time it gets to the evening hours, then I go to the boxing. And this is the way I do it, because I believe that doing a lower body workout first thing in the morning is the best thing you can do for bone density and for growth hormone, because you're stimulating the production of all that growth hormone right out of bed